Well, college football season will be here before you know it. And for UConn fans, they're going to get their first glimpse of the Jason Candle era at the Rent in just a matter of months. Fox 61's Alexa Harley sat down with Coach Candle to get some insight into what the new leader is all about.
Well, April showers bring May flowers. At least that's what they say. But there's no real saying for the month of August, but it is going to bring college football back to Connecticut. We got some time between now and then, of course, but this season will be the first for UConn head coach Jason Candle, and I caught up with him this past week to talk about the chaos of taking over a program that's recently been sustaining success and how he plans to establish a foundation of winning yet again this season. Check it out. All right, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a minute since we've seen you back in January, and then, of course, the spring game a couple of weeks ago. Just what have these first couple of months in stores kind of been like for you in transitioning to taking over the Huskies program?
I mean, obviously an exciting transition. A lot of moving parts, as we all know. But I think our players and our staff have been unbelievable. They've been, very consistent in their approach. They've done everything we've asked them to do. Spring ball ended up, on a good note, and what you're looking for in spring football is just the baseline of your scheme, your fundamentals, and all three phases. And I think our players have really grasped that. Now we got to turn our focus and our transition here to the summer and, have a really good summer and hopefully a good fall camp so we can have a great year.
You built a lot of consistency during your time at Toledo. When you're taking over a program like UConn, what are some of those first steps to establishing a foundation?
Well, I think it's just a different time in college football. Everybody's trying to acquire as much talent as you can in a small amount of time and ultimately play the greatest team game, right? This is not an individual sport. And, you hit a bad shot in tennis or you hit a bad shot in golf, you smack your hip and, talk to yourself a little bit and you go fix it and you do it again. But in this one, if that happens, you're affecting 10 other players and a lot of people on your team in a negative way. So, I think the key thing is just trying to build continuity, build trust, build team. And we can't lose sight of that in today's, world. And even though there's different, rules of engagement of how things are being put together, the objective still remains the same. You got to go win the game on Saturdays. So there's only one way to do that, and that's to be a connected team and to trust one another and really know what your teammates are doing and know where your help is in every play. And, we're actively working hard to get that done.
And you can catch more of my conversation with head coach Jason Candle on this week's episode of Connecticut Game Week, which will air right here on Fox 61 on Friday at 7 p.m. In studio, Alexa Harley, Fox 61 Sports.